I have over 500 movies in my Letterboxd watch list. Let's pick one at random and review it. Today's video is going to be about The Housemaid. So this is one of those classic Korean films that I just haven't gotten around to yet. There is a 2010 remake of it that I have seen back when that remake first came out, and I thought that was all right, but obviously the original is supposed to be a lot better. So I'm excited to get into this. Okay, I have now seen the psychosexual drama thriller that is The Housemaid. I pretty much knew what to expect here since I had previously seen the 2010 remake and the fact that Bong Joon-ho has cited this movie as a major influence on his Best Picture winner, Parasite. You can certainly draw a lot of parallels between the two since they both explore themes that are very popular in Korean cinema. The collapsing of the family unit, conflicts between different socioeconomical classes, and just generally what greed does to people. This is one of those movies where people are just awful to each other, and there are very few characters with redeeming qualities. The story follows a piano composer and his pregnant wife. They already have 2 children, so they decide to take in the titular housemaid, who quickly becomes obsessed with the father of the family. I was honestly a little worried where they would go with it, because I don't think movies of that specific ilk has aged the best. I'm talking about stuff like Play Misty for me or Fatal Attraction, but thankfully those elements just kick off the story, and then we're led into this family melodrama that's very dark and twisted. It's very Hitchcockian in a lot of ways, so if that sounds like something you'd be into, I definitely give this movie a watch. But I'll be honest, I like this film, I didn't fully love it. I'll talk around this since there's no need for spoilers, but this movie has one of the strangest endings I've seen in a really long time. And there's definitely things you can read into with the ending, but in general, it feels like it was tacked on to appease censors. Like the movie was too dark without this little 90-second tacked on ending, which oddly, in a way, feels also very Hitchcockian. You know, he had to do that for a couple of his movies. I also hate being this MTV ADHD generation version of myself when talking about older films, but my god, does this movie take a long time to get going. The movie's about an hour and 50 minutes, so it's not overly long, but it feels that way because of the first act. You're just waiting for the story to even start going, really. Like, it feels like the movie starts before the story starts, if that makes any sense. Like, I forget how they did it in the remake, but if you told this story now, there are definitely sections in the beginning of the movie that would be abbreviated because they're overall just not that important to the story. But I cannot stress enough that once you get past that first act that's rather slow, there are some really crazy things that happen in the second and third act that are worth seeing, especially if you're into that type of like Hitchcock suspense film. If you like the way Hitchcock movies are twisted and disturbed, this definitely gives you a lot of that same flavor. At some point, the characters in this house become so incredibly mean to each other that you can't help but do anything other than laugh. There's a thing that happens in this movie involving a staircase that I really wasn't expecting, and I bursted out laughing when it did happen, even though it was incredibly dark. I just didn't think this movie from 1960 would go there, but I was really delighted that they did. And it's because of moments like that that I do really recommend you seek out this film and experience it for yourself, even though the beginning is a bit slow and the ending is a bit of a head scratcher. Like, there is so much cool, interesting things that happen in the middle of this movie, and it is so twisted and disturbed in a really oddly funny way that I was really charmed by it, even though I can also see that some of it hasn't aged the best, and I do wish the movie had a different ending. Also, there are some real powerful performances in this film, especially from the women in it, and I wasn't familiar with these actresses beforehand, so I'm going to try my best with the pronunciation here, but Lee Young Shim, who plays the housemaid here, she is great in this kind of damaged femme fatale type of role. It's a great performance from her. And then you have the role of Mrs. Kim, played by Yoo Jong-ri, who is the piano composer's wife, right? So she becomes pregnant in the beginning of the film. She kind of takes a back seat for the first half of it, and then in the second half of it, she's tried to keep everything together, everything in this house that's going on. And this is not a situation that should be kept together. It is so so fucked up and disturbed, but she decides that this is what she needs to do for the family unit. So she tries to step up and make the best of something, and people end up getting hurt. And she, you see her flaws as well. And she is definitely one of the people in this movie that I thought I was going to root for. And then maybe those lines become blurred as the movie progresses. But it really, really great and fun performance from her as well. So yeah, I'm really glad I watched this, and now I have a more historical context in terms of Korean cinema, so that's good. I do wish the film was a little tighter, and the fact that the ending is such an oddball choice kind of threw me off a little bit, but in general, I like this movie and I recommend it. Thanks for watching this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, all that stuff, and I'll talk to you guys next time, okay? Bye.